रेहान, वी आर ऑलमोस्ट एट दी सॉरी, वापस स्टार्ट करते हैं। सॉरी, क्या बोल रहा था मैं? भूला। मैं बहुत, मेरे साथ बहुत हुआ आज। मेरे साथ क्लाइंट प्रेजेंटेशन में आज हो गया। बोलते बोलते भूल गया। ठीक है। Rehan, tomorrow is the third ODI. The second ODI was a couple of days back. We witnessed another classic Kohli innings, 102 out. But we also saw Ruturaj Gaikwad score a century. We saw KL Rahul give it the finishing touches, but maybe we fell short by 15 runs. That's what we felt. I think 375 would have been a match-winning score, if not a competitive one. Let's talk about the third ODI. It's in Visakhapatnam. But before we move into the preview, let's talk about the possibilities of India winning the toss tomorrow. If India do not win the toss tomorrow, it's going to be the 21st consecutive time that India is losing a toss in an ODI match. The last time that we won a toss in ODI, Kohli was still an all-format player. Uh, Sachin Tendulkar was still the highest century maker in ODI cricket. It was the 2023 World Cup semi-final in Mumbai against New Zealand. Enough of my monologue. Now let's talk about the toss first. What should we do?
I don't. I mean, KL Rahul has tried many things in the toss, but it hasn't worked out. So luck has its way. But yeah, looking at what we can
But
do, what is there in our hand, Naman, is the skill set and the tactical approach that which we can play with. I mean, that was lacking completely in the second ODI. You would
And
agree to
even
that,
even in the first ODI, we were
even in the first.
we benefited from the fact that they were 11 for 3, or else it would have been 2-0 by now. But let's talk about the third ODI. Obviously, if we lose the toss, it's obviously going to be bad first for India. But if you honestly are able to win the toss, do you bat or bowl at Vizag? I would bowl first. That is because I think with dew coming in both the matches, I think in Vizag you can expect much more dew than the first two games. So it becomes even more difficult for the bowlers. And given India's fast bowlers, I think it's better that we go in with five spinners.
I think that's the template, right? When you win the toss, you try and chase. I mean, in
Correct.
limited overs, that's become the new trend that's going on, and it is rightly so, especially when you're playing in Indian conditions where dew becomes a major factor. In the second ODI, also, you saw the ball slipping out of the hand and bowlers not being that accurate. So, yeah, toss might play a big factor, but overall, India's performance has been not that great. We have been very average, to say the least,
In terms
against the
of
South
bowling, right?
African. Uh, See, batting hasn't been tested that much, if I can say. It's been covered by Virat Kohli's brilliance, if you can put it across that way. Uh, Players who are sitting outside are much better than players who are in the team. Let's be honest. Prasidh Krishna going at a run rate of 10. In the red ball format, he goes at a run rate of 6. I mean, what is the logic behind that selection? I don't
The
seem to
logic is that
understand.
in T20 he'll go at a run rate of 15. Same logic.
Same logic, and I don't understand why Akshar Patel is not playing. If you want to play Washington Sundar, are you not confident about your batting? Because Washington Sundar is a much better batter, I believe. Why is Akshar Patel also being sidelined is something that I fail to understand. Siraj being sidelined, suddenly Siraj is completely out of the limited format setup. You only see him in the red ball. So your plans for the 2027 World Cup seem disarrayed at the moment. There is no concrete plan as such. We may have a lot of backups, but we don't have the firepower. You look at the other side, South Africa. They don't have Tabraiz Samshi. They don't have Rassie van der Dusen. They didn't even play Rickelton in the last match. They don't
Klaasen
have
has retired.
Tristan.
There is no Miller also.
There's no Miller. There's no Tristan Stubbs. So you
Correct.
look at the battery that they have. They don't have Andrik Nokia. They don't have Rabada.
Rabada.
So they have a terrific set of players who are waiting. Vian Mulder is also one of them. So they are covered in their bases going to the World Cup, and the performance from them in the first two ODIs has been fantastic. They would be a little disappointed not to win the first ODI, but they were certainly knocking on the door even after being 11 for 3.
So, talking about going into the third ODI, changes for India. Looking at the squad, there is not much gap there, I would say, in terms of fast bowling options because there are no other alternatives. There are only three fast bowlers that are selected, and all three of them are playing. There is someone like named Nitish Kumar Reddy, but I would rather have someone like a Washington Sundar in place of him because even he's not your gun batsman or a gun bowler. He's a part-time batsman and a part-time bowler. Maybe he's more of a Stuart Binney kind of a player, if I could term it that way. So I think it falls upon the senior pros like Kohli and Rohit again. Rohit did not have a great outing last time around, but he's been in some fantastic form. And we also heard that he's approached the Mumbai domestic team and asked if he could play the Syed Mushtaq Ali knockout matches as well. So that means that he wants to be in the fray for selection for the 50 over World Cup. But let's talk about Yashasvi Jaiswal for a moment. You know that it's going to be the last match where he's gonna get a maybe an opportunity to showcase his talent in the 50 over format, because once Shuman Gills comes back, there is no option. And if Shreyas Iyer comes in as well, then there's no place for Ruturaj Gaikwad as well in the playing 11. So even if you want to give a chance to Gaikwad, it has to be as an opener. So I think it's the last chance for Jaiswal if he does not score.
Yeah, you're right on that aspect. I just differ on the point of Ruturaj. Maybe the Indian management could look at him as a possible number four
In
and
place
put
of Shreyas.
no, and put Shreyas at five and
Okay.
KL at six. But the problem there is that you miss Hardik Pandya. You need Hardik Pandya.
Once the T20 World Cup gets over, Hardik is
Hmm.
anyways going to come back.
Because that's a major weakness that Indian team is facing right
Correct.
now. If you see in the second ODI, in the last 10 overs, we only scored 56. That is
Correct.
very awful. We should have actually gone on to score at least 80, is what I feel, against a bowling lineup where Nandre Berger was injured and the bowlers
Correct.
were not able to perform at their very best. Even Keshav Maharaj was being taken to the cleaners. Corbin Bosch actually bowled out of his skin and
Correct.
was very economical. So, in that aspect where finishing is required, we were lacking badly.
Correct.
Jadeja also did not step up. So, once Hardik Pandya comes in, maybe that problem gets solved. And
Yeah,
you're
that is
right. I
because you
think,
also send
hmm,
KL up to number five. And I think one
right,
reason that KL has been playing at number six is that you need someone experienced to finish, and that's exactly what we saw last time around. Because of the fact that Gaikwad and Kohli together played more than 150 balls, it somehow laid the foundation where KL felt confident that the base is there. Now he can come and launch. Maybe with someone more experienced coming in place, like there is Shreyas at number four, there is KL at number five. The Indian think tank feels more confident that, if someone gets out, the other person coming in won't just get out in a span of 5 overs. Maybe they'll take some time, they'll hit a couple of shots and then get out. Maybe instead of getting out in within 5 overs, maybe last till 10 overs, which makes sure that you have at least three batsmen for the last 10 overs. राइट नाउ व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इज 42 ओवर्स पे कोहली कोई आउट हो जाता है जो सेट होता है, एंड यू आर लेफ्ट विथ व्हाट केएल राहुल जडेजा एंड हर्षित राणा. अब हर्षित राणा ऑल्दो ही कैन बैट, उसको लास्ट 5-4 ओवर से ज्यादा तुम ट्रस्ट नहीं कर सकते. सो यू कांट रियली गो, even you have a platform, you can't launch, and that is where we saw last time that India lost out on runs, and I think Aiden Markram bowled 5 straight overs.
right.
That is where
That's
Jadeja
what
was. Yeah.
That's what I was saying, that the bowlers were not up to the mark and they were using their part timers so well that
Yep.
you are not able to get runs. So that is somewhat of a shameful behavior by the lower order where we could have improved. But yeah, speaking about Yashasvi Jaiswal, I think one good news for him is that probably Andre Berger won't be playing the final ODI.
Marco Jansen is
Uh,
playing, he'll get out.
Marco Jansen is playing, but it's a weakness that shouldn't come up so soon in his career because teams going around will look at that and make plans accordingly. I mean, he is technically gifted, so he should come back from that very soon. One more point, Naman, I wanted to make is that you would have also seen it. The fielding was awful. The fielding
Someone
was,
someone like a Jadeja was awful that day.
I mean, it could be because the dew was too much, but I don't want to,
Yeah.
make excuses. A fielder like Jadeja, someone who is that experienced. But yeah, fielding was awful. Jaiswal dropped a catch. Markram went on to score 100. But credit to Brevis and Bretsky. I mean, Bretsky is terrific. He has been throughout this series also, even though he didn't get 100. But excellent batting from him. They managed to not let the run rate go above 7.5, 8. They kept it at 6.5. That was a good job done by them so that Corbin Bosch could actually take it forward and finish it. Yeah, but we have lots of areas that we have to improve on.
Any changes you expect in the Indian team?
I don't see any changes because we, as you rightly said, that we don't have many alternatives as such. Maybe you could. give Akshar Patel a final go instead of Washington
Akshar
Sundar.
is not there in the squad.
Akshar is not there, then I think there's no changes that are going to happen.
I expect one change: Washington Sundar going out and Nitish Kumar coming in. I would have Jadeja bat at number five, KL at six, and Nitish at seven, because then your finishing gets taken care of, because you can't rely on Jadeja. And if you want a lefty in the middle order, then maybe put someone like a Jadeja. At least he won't eat up 10 balls and then get out, just like what Washington Sundar has been doing in the last two matches. He'll maybe eat up 30 balls and score only 20 runs. That's what happened in the World Cup final. But yeah, not going there. Let's talk about the most important fact. Virat Kohli, he has scored two consecutive centuries. He's already scored 84 international centuries. I don't want to jinx anything. Do you think he can score a hat trick of centuries? If, especially if we are chasing the kind of form he is in, plus you add to that the dew coming in, and then how easy the batting conditions get, and the poor form of Yashasvi Jaiswal means that he'll come inside the batting power play to bat again. So you can expect another century, but one question I will have for you is, will he complete 100 international centuries?
Yeah, I really want him to do that, but you see the number of ODIs that we are playing is very less.
Correct.
And if you see at it from a very practical angle, he may retire at the end of 2027 World Cup.
Why would you? Although I have a question for that. You know the
Yeah,
2029 Champions Trophy is in India.
you're right, but if he retired from test matches and T20s at 36, I don't see him playing beyond 2027. If he plays, then well and good, of course. I mean,
I think
who
if
is to stop?
if he'll be around 96, 97 international centuries, he might as well prolong his career for another 4, 5 months. Just how Tendulkar did. He could have retired at the end of 2011 World Cup, but he went on to play till I think 2013 November. So anything can happen. But yeah, I think it'll be even great if Kohli managed to score a hat trick of centuries, because I think it just makes the happiness index of India go higher at an international level. But you can see the smile on my face while I'm explaining that. But again, coming back to the South African squad, Themba Bavuma, the small Don, he's not lost an ODI against India apart from the 23 World Cup match. Do you think that South Africa will go on to win and secure the series to one, or will it be India?
I think it might be South Africa only because they came close in the first ODI, and in the second they completely dominated, is what I feel. Even though we were on top after getting those wickets, what I feel is that their batting is better than ours only because they have much more depth in their batting. And the versatility, if you see, is better there. Although Quinton de Kock hasn't been in great form, Rickleton is sitting out. Tony DeZorzi, you saw him, he got injured. So in this tour, he hasn't really been that great. You could replace a player in his place. But yeah, I feel that batting wise, they are much stronger. And the bowling could take care of itself. But you see, Andre Berger is also injured. So I don't know where they'll get that other seamer from. That could be a weakness for them. But I see South Africa probably winning the last ODI.
I'm not gonna make any comments on that because I want some other team to win, but we all know what's gonna happen. So, all the best, Gautam Gambhir and Ajit Agarkar, for answering all the selection calls. And the squad that you selected, especially the fast bowling lineup, looks for a lot of introspection, because you don't have Siraj, you don't have Shami, you don't have a fast bowling all rounder. You are banking on Harshit Rana to deliver the goods, and you have a left arm fast bowler who goes at around 130. So I think a lot of introspection needs to be done in terms of bowling, because if you don't have someone like a Jasprit Bumrah in your armory in ODIs, even if you're playing at home, you need to have some experienced bowler that can guide the younger bowlers. It can't be always up to the batsman, like someone like Rohit going up to the bowlers and explaining. Even if he's doing that, you need your bowlers to execute. And I think it's gonna be a tough pill to swallow if we lose. But if Kohli manages to score a century, and so does Rohit, I think, and if we lose, it's a win-win for all of us. So on that note, thank you for joining, and do tune in for the post-match review of the Ashes. Hopefully, by the looks of it, it will last for at least 3 more, at least 2 more days. Correct? Okay, thank you
Right.
guys. Bye.